Today we will discuss on vectors of part 2. We have already done vectors part 1 where we have learned about what are vectors and how vector addition can be done. Today we will know how vector addition can be done on a graphical way, and as well as the other topics are also there. So let us start with this vector representation when on graphically. Now suppose there are vectors, say A I have shown, B is there, C is also there. Now if these vectors are lying in this way, how you can find out the resultant of these vectors? How you will do? Let us arrange them. We have arranged A in this way, we have arranged B, and we have taken C and we have attached to it. So what we find? We find that the heads of one vector is connected with the tail of the other vector. If you see here also, the vector head of vector A is touched or is arranged with the tail of vector B without changing the direction of these vectors. If you see here, the direction of vectors are not being changed. If I do it again, if you see here, it was arranged in this way. Now vector A was eastward, I have taken it eastward only, I have not changed any direction. Similarly for B also, if you see, there is no change in direction, only it got shifted and it got attached. Tail head attachment. Again for C also there is no change in the direction. So you need to remember that there should not be change in direction, only that you can connect it in tail head arrangement. Now this is one arrangement where you see it is moving in one direction. You see here it's in moving in one order, not direction, you can say in one order. Now then resultant will be this. That means we need to draw a resultant vector or need to draw a vector which will be in opposite order to the order of the other vectors. Then that becomes your resultant vector. So this is the way how we add up vectors graphically. So this is vector addition. Now we'll move to type of vectors. Now let us start with position vector and displacement vector. Now to understand this one, let us draw the axis. Let this be the x-axis, this be the y-axis. The origin as O, and let us name it as OA. That one as OB. Y-axis as OB. Now let us consider a object at point. Say the object is at point Q. Then if I draw a arrow, this will represent the position vector for that object at point Q. That means what? If I bring an object or at position Q, at point Q, and if I draw a arrow from the origin to that point, then this is the position vector which is represented by, say I have represented this one as R2 vector. That is the position vector. This sign overhead is this cap is nothing but it represents that R2 is a vector quantity. So this is your position vector for that object positioned at point Q. Now suppose the object at Q moves to P. That means what? I am doing it again. Suppose the object from Q moves to another point P. Then now at this instant at point P, that means at this instant, if I draw another arrow from origin, this will represent the other position vector, the another position vector. Since it was also position vector, this also represents a position vector which determines at what position on xy plane. Here I have named as A and B, you can consider as xy plane. So this position vector represents what? This position vector represents at what position the object is at any instant on the AB plane. If you consider xy plane, you can consider xy plane also. And this one I have named, this position vector I have named as R1. So previously when the object was at any instant at point Q while moving from this place to that place, then at any instant point point Q, the position vector I have considered as R2, and in the same way when it was moving, we have taken another arbitrary point where the object was there at any instant, we have considered that position vector as R1. Then the difference between these 2 points, that is R3, that means if I draw a vector from point Q to point P, this represents your displacement vector. That means the body displaced from point Q to from point Q to point P. So this represents your displacement vector, that is I have represented as R3. So I have written the same way R1 which represents your OP, that's your position vector. R2, there is also another position vector, that is OQ. R3, that is QP. If you see here, R3 is your QP. So that is QP, that is called displacement vector, and that's the difference, that is R2 minus R1. Now we will go to zero or null vector. It's a very interesting vector actually. Null and zero vector. That means the vector which is having a zero magnitude, but it will not be able to understand in which direction it is moving, or in which direction it can represent. That means there is no specific direction. Zero magnitude. That means you can consider a dot on a paper, or any dot in space which is a dot. That means is obviously, since we can see it, it's having near to zero or zero magnitude. That means it's having zero magnitude, without any magnitude, and having no specific direction. That means where it can move, we don't know. Now zero vector we can write in this way also. If say vector A and vector B is same, and if we go for say vector A and B is same, and vector B is in opposite direction to A, vector B is in opposite direction to A. That means if I add up, actually in vectors there is always vector addition. There is nothing as vector subtraction. Now why we say vector subtraction? Then you can ask, sir, we find vector subtraction in many of the cases. Vector subtraction means where we consider a vector in opposite direction, and then we consider that one as minus of that vector. So that only I have written here. I have done vector summation only. What I have done, vector A plus, that I have not shown here, plus in bracket minus B. So plus minus, you will get minus. It's a simple one. So that means vector A minus vector B, obviously you will get 0, since two vector scalar magnitude are same. Similarly, these are the properties. These are the properties where you get vector A plus vector 0 vector, you will get vector A. If you multiply a 0 vector with, or a null vector with a scalar quantity, you will get 0 vector again. Similarly, if you do this one again, you will get 0 vector. So these are the basic properties of zero vector. Now here one question comes. Which I would like to give this one as a question for your assignment also. That why then null vector is required? Please do work on this factor. Why null vector is required? Obviously, it's some requirement is there. That's why we are studying on this. So you need to find out why zero vector or null vector is required. And I hope you will come out with some answers. If you don't get your answers, please ask in comment section. After doing your own brainstorming, we'll discuss on that part as well. Now this is also a graphical representation of unit vector, which we call now unit vector. That means what? Vectors are having magnitude of 1, scalar magnitude 1, although it is showing some direction. It will have some direction, but magnitude is 1. These are also called orthogonal vectors. Now let us take a x and y plane and also a z plane. That means now we are going to discuss on 3 dimensions. In 3 dimensions, let this point be O, and now let us come to the vector. Say this is vector A. The red one is your vector A. So you have got x, y and z, and we have considered a vector A which is lying on the x axis. If I consider x axis, on the x axis we have vector A. We have taken a small vector, if you see here, and we have considered this one of value of 1 as 1. So what it represents basically, this vector which is having unit value along x-axis is named as I cap. This is universally accepted, so you need to write for any unit vector along x-axis as I only, no changing of the names. Now then this vector A we can represent as the unit vector which shows you the direction, and the scalar value of this A. That means it is now very much clear that vectors are having direction that is shown by the unit 1 and the scalar magnitude. So you got the point that magnitude and direction, it represents your whole of the vector. So vector A represented by I, which shows that I shows what? I shows that vector A is in the direction of x-axis. I represents unit vector along x-axis, that is fixed, and A is the scalar value, that is the scalar magnitude. Hope you understood this part. Now similarly, along y-axis we name it as j cap, along z-axis we name it as k cap. These are fixed, you cannot change these things. So I cap, j cap, k cap. So these are all for orthogonal vectors. You can also name it as unit vectors along I along x-axis, j along y-axis, and k along z-axis. Hope you understood this part also. If you have any confusion, I am repeatedly telling, please let me know. Then comes vector resolution. Now how do you resolute a vector in terms of its perpendicular and horizontal components, or x along x and y axis? Let us first start with 2D. So let us take a vector now. Say this is vector A. Now the tail I have named it as O. The head I have named it as R. Let us draw from O the x plane or the x axis and the y axis from O. So this is all. Now from here we will drop a perpendicular from position R to x axis where it intersects, and as soon as it intersects, there you will find, I am repeating this part again, there is another vector drawn from O to this position where the intersection lies on the x-axis, and we name it as P. So OP represents another vector, and this OP is nothing but the component of vector A along x-axis, or x-axis is your horizontal component. So we can consider that OP is your horizontal component of vector A, and we name it as AX vector. That means the component of vector A along x-axis. This is also called horizontal component. Now let us drop another perpendicular from point R to Y, and again we will draw another vector which will end up to the intersection point. I have named it as Q, and let this be named as AY vector. That means here again AY represents the component of vector A along y-axis, or the vertical component of vector A along y-axis. So now for vector A you got two components, one horizontal component, the other one vertical component. Horizontal component you can name it as AX vector, and vertical component you name it as AY vector. Now remember one thing, this AX I have drawn here, this AY can also be shifted at this position also. So this also represents your AY, mind it. Again this represents your AX. Clear? Now let us have the angle from the horizontal. So we have considered this one as theta. So now we'll go for A, vector A, the original one. All are original only, but the wholesome one, we can say that vector A. Now then vector A represents what? If you remember that vector addition, if you remember vector addition in our vector part 1, you will obviously you can recapitulate that this vector and this vector, if we add up these two vectors, and the angle between them is 90 degree, you will get the resultant then. So if you see here, these are the two vectors. If you come in reverse way, AX and AY are the two vectors, and if you add up vectorially, you will get vector A. So if you see here, I have given this expression only. If you consider now that AX and AY are the two vectors, earlier vectors, maybe the initial vectors, and if you add up vectorially, as we have done in vector addition part 1, you will get the resultant vector A here. Now again in another way we can say that vector A is having one horizontal component x and AX, another vertical component AY, which we add up in this way. Now if I now do in the as per the earlier slide what we have done, AX I can represent as IAX, where I represents the direction, since AX is in x direction. So we have written I as a unit vector which represents solely for the vectors which are running across x-axis or horizontal axis, and ax is your scalar value. Similarly for ay also, j ay. So hope you understood this part. Now as a whole I can represent that if I consider theta, then cos theta will be what? Cos theta is what? Base by hypo. So base is ax and hypotenuse is a. Here we are not going for the vectorial signs. We are only concerned with the scalar values now. We have considered this value a, value of scalar value a, and that means the length of the vector. Here also ax I have considered the length of the vector. So cos theta equal ax by a. So I can write that again, that cos sin theta equal to ay by a. Sin theta is equal to ay by a. Ay is your this one perpendicular part. That means this. So from here we can learn, or we can write one thing, that a I can represent this one, or this part can be substituted by these parts as ix plus j ay. Now, if I go to this part again, if you see here cos theta equal to ax by a, that means ax I can represent. If I cross multiply in the linear fashion, we will get a cos theta. We will get a cos theta. Again, similarly, if I do for sine component also, sine component is also called vertical component, cos component also horizontal component. So, if I get ay, then ay I can represent as a sine theta, as a sine theta. So this one now comes for your, we can easily write, if I add up these two, if I say square both the sides, and if I add these two equations, squaring both sides, and if I add up add these equations, then what we will get? A square plus x square equal to, we'll get a square, we will get common, and sine square plus cos square theta in the bracket. So sine square plus cos square theta will give you 1, and a square will be a square plus ax square plus ay square, and if I square root, we will get this formula. You can do it in your own way. I have not done this one. The only reason, you need to do it in your copy. Square this first equation and then square this second equation, and then add up those equations. You will get this equation. Okay. So the next one, what we can get now, we can find out that the direction of the resultant vector with respect to one vector. That also we have discussed in vector 1, that this angle, we represent the direction of any vector with respect to angle with which angle with any of the other vectors which we consider. You can also consider this one also, but we have considered, for our ease we have considered this from with the horizontal axis. So theta we can get, then theta is what? Tan theta, theta is equal to what we have written, tan theta. So tan theta we can consider as tan theta, function of tan for this angle theta, and we will get what? Perpendicular by base. Perpendicular is this part, that is ay, and base is your ax. So easily you got now theta equal to tan inverse ay by ax. This slide is very important with respect to your 2D, so that we can understand the next part, that is on three-dimensional aspect. Now 3D, that is three-dimensional. Yes, last time we have considered for 2D, that is x and y plane. Now we will consider for x, y and z plane. Now let us have the vector again. Same a vector I have considered. I have considered the tail as O. I have considered the head as R. Now let us put it, or let us assume it in x, y and z plane. So we have got this x, y, z axis, and we have got the vector a as well. Now let us have the flooring. You can take this part as your room. You can think this one as a stick which is connected to the any one corner of your room floor, and you can consider that the head is R, and this is your room, where this is your height of your room, this is your length and breadth of your room. Okay, so this is your flooring, and now we'll draw perpendiculars from R on the floor, and then we will draw the projection of this vector. We have drawn a projection over here, and we have calculate the angle here as say theta. That means this one is lying in air, connect the tail connected to the corner, and we have got the angle theta over here by drawing the projection of OR. Now from the projection we'll drop the perpendiculars on both x and z plane, and when we drop a perpendicular on x plane, we'll also draw the vector along x-axis. That's what we have done in for 2D case. Here we have drawn the vector over here, and we get this blue colored arrow is your vector along x-axis. The point of intersection is P, and the vector along x-axis we have considered as AX, the same one, so that you will be having easier way to learn it. Then we'll drop another perpendicular from the projection head to the z-axis, and we'll draw another blue arrow representing a vector, that is this part, which is along z-axis, and we'll represent the intersection point as S, and the vector along z-axis is, say, AZ. Now we need to find out the vector. Now we have got what? We have got vector along x-axis, or the horizontal component. We have got the another horizontal component along z-axis. Now we need to find out the vector along this y-axis or perpendicular component for this vector. So how we'll do that one? We'll draw perpendicular to one of the walls. You can take this one as a room wall, this one another room wall. So on this wall we have dropped a perpendicular. From there we have constructed like this. We have constructed the square. Now the intersection point, if you find here from here to here and here to here, this intersection point, we can draw another vector over this, and this will represent your vertical component of this vector A. The intersection point I have considered as Q, and the vector is again AY along Y axis. Hope you understood this one. You can rewind and you can see this video again and again. This part especially, it will be helpful for you to visualize the fact. Now again, since in 2D we have written A equal to AX plus AY, here another axis comes into picture, plus AZ. In the similar way, AX equal to AX, AY JAY, AZ AZ equal to KAZ. Now this term will be your AZ. It's a typographical error, it came. So it is AZ and then equal to KAZ. Now you will have the three vectors here. Vector A equal to IAX plus JAY plus KAZ. The same way we have done the similar way. Next comes the same. These three components, these three vectors, if you add up vectorially, you will get vector A, which is equal to root over AX square plus AY square plus AZ square. Hope you enjoyed these slides, these videos, and thank you for your patience. And as soon as you are in this end of the video, hope you have seen the whole video. Please subscribe if you like, and also don't forget to hit the gong so that you get the next notifications for this channel. Thank you to all of you.